bitch. She probably took great delight in imagining him being stuck in the airport with nothing open but the public loos. Having passed through passport control, one very bored officer, and a totally deserted customs control, Kenneth collected his luggage and strolled to the furthest end of the airport, where buses and taxis for Athens and Piraeus were to be had. There were also coaches waiting to collect package tourists. As he approached the ticket office, he saw his flight companions in the queue. He heard them ask for tickets to Piraeus. Kenneth did not do buses. He crossed the road and got into a waiting taxi. They were straight out into the suburb of Glyfada. The coast road was fairly quiet, it being midweek. Mostly taxis ploughing between airport and ports, buses transporting tourists to their hotels or to the port to wait for ferries to islands with no airport. The lights of bars, restaurants and nightclubs, which would glare till late at the weekend, were non-existent, but he knew where to look for the beauty of Athens. It was just a brief window of opportunity, but he was ready. There she was, standing proudly, in ghostly illumination. The Parthenon. A flash and she was gone. Kenneth heard the driver speaking. He made out the word Limani, so deduced he was being asked which port was wanted. Coming out with one of his stock phrases, Eneleptuli, Kenneth consulted his fat envelope. Yes, he was booked on the hydrofoil, known locally as the Flying Dolphin, which left from Marina Zea. Now he realized why. Zea was totally deserted during the early hours, not even a toilet open. If he remembered correctly, there wasn't even anywhere to sit. That's why she'd opted for the Dolphin rather than the ferry. A serpentine smile crossed his face. Another chance to get one over the baptized, confirmed, and practicing bitch. He launched into his limited Greek. Signomi, tolemali megalo parakalo. As he settled back smugly, he saw one of the driver's hands being raised into the air. The splayed fingers were thrust heavenwards, and the hand appeared to rotate from the wrist, although, on closer observation, it only turned halfway and then back again. This was the sort of Greek he understood. Again, he consulted the envelope just to make certain. Spetses. The driver's hand changed shape. The tip of the fingers met the tip of the thumb to receive an enthusiastic smack of his lips, the fingers then snapping open. Poleurea. The taxi veered off the main road, taking side streets until Kenneth began to wonder if he were being taken on the scenic route. However, they soon drew up at the bottom of some stone steps that reached up to a very large and architecturally ornate church. The taxi driver barely paused as he removed Kenneth's 2 large valises from the boot, crossed himself, surely the wrong way, and laid his right hand reverently on his breast, which hand then reached out to receive the fare. By the time he'd finished adding on the extras from the airport to the seaport, 2 cases, night charge, the fare was considerably more than the meter stated. Still cheaper than all the other European cities Kenneth had visited. The ferries to the islands were across the road about 200 meters down from the church. He crossed the road carefully, checking for stray traffic. At this time of night, the traffic lights were switched off to conserve energy. The dockside was totally deserted. The water appeared still, yet the giant ferries swayed gently at their moorings. Ticket offices were not yet open and the ships had their barriers in place. He saw the ship he wanted, Saronic Express, proclaimed in large letters that its destinations were Egna, Methana, Poros, Hydra, Hermione, and Spetses. It also sported a clock attached above the stern stating it left at 8 a.m. It was just after 3. He saw a dim gleam of light past the Saronic ferries. He headed towards the gleam. It proved to come from a small cantina selling tea, coffee, soft drinks, beer, and the ubiquitous 7-day croissant. Kenneth shrugged. Mia birra parakalo.